Hello everyone! Welcome to Sketchbook Tour Part 1. I've never done a sketchbook tour before, so it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but feel free to get yourself comfy as I show you the first sketchbook I've ever managed to fill. So I got this sketchbook in November 2020. It is a hardcover sketchbook from the brand Moleskine. Back then I had no preference for paper at all. I had no idea what I was getting into, so I really just got the one that was most easily accessible. Most of the sketches in the beginning are done with pencil, and they are also made way before I had anything YouTube in mind. It wasn't my intention to show the entire sketchbook, to put it like that. But here I am, and here you are. Thank you for being here. Let's open up this thing before I change my mind. The first little guy we meet is a little gnome that got stuck in the cookie jar. I had made Christmas sketches and I thought this one was so cute that I wanted to stick it in there. For many of us who start out in our very first adult life sketchbook, it is scary to fill up those first pages. So I wrote, just do it. And I wrote, you don't have to believe in yourself, you just have to do the work. This is a quote that I got from Brad Rushing. It comes from a very interesting interview about being successful as an artist. In other words, I guess you could say, rely on those things you can control. So when I started the sketchbook, I started with soft pencil marks and I only sketched on the right page. Later I came back to sketch on the other side as well, because I realized that not doing that would be a waste of perfectly good paper. So the sketches on the right come from November 2020, while the sketches on our left come from September 2023. I still remember well how long it took me to sketch these lips. I really wanted to get them right because I wanted to use them as a reference throughout the book as well. I may or may not have forgotten that they were there, but I definitely learned a lot from sketching them. So those lips took me a couple of hours to get right, while those heads on the left took me 10 minutes or so. I sketched the lips from reference out of a sketching book, and the heads are done from memory. Noses! Oh, noses are hard. Same as the lips, these noses definitely took me an entire evening. But there was nothing else to do that time anyway, so I had all the time in the world to be as perfectionistic as I wanted to be. I mean, I even took the time to learn the Latin. But what I completely missed was how to put all these facial features together on one face. Later in the sketchbook you'll see precisely what I mean. A sudden pineapple appears, and on the left a side profile from my fiancé, but he does have hair. I think I failed to draw his hair for some reason. Anyway, pineapples and apples and a leaf. I was playing around with some colored pencils that I got from a hobby shop's home brand. Believe me when I tell you that my fingers were cramping by the time these were done. They barely left behind any color and they really didn't want to layer much at all. So sometimes you can be lucky with budget hobby supplies, but in this case, not so much. Eyeballs! I remember being amazed when I saw the anatomy of the eye. I still think that the human eye is pretty tricky to draw. And by that I also mean the eyelid and eyebrows and the squish and pull of the muscles around it. We're still in November 2020 and we're still working very hard to get it precisely right. This one is definitely sketched from reference. It's part of a wood carving from one of the Viking halls in Norway. I think I have a picture of it somewhere. Oh hey, it's Festival Me. Let's quickly zoom into that. It is a little bit unbelievable that I really was only 2 months into my sketching journey by the time I made this. But yeah, it is what it is. I think it took me about 2 weeks, if not more. And I honestly don't think I could do it any better today. I could do it faster maybe. Hey, so drop a comment if you would like to see step by step how to make something like this, because I think I can do that for you. Testing, testing. On this page I tried testing my new Carandash colored pencils that I was given for Christmas. Yeah, what else? I also got a solvent. So what I did was layer several layers of colored pencil and then use a solvent to see if I could make it look less pencil-y. But then I realized that this sketchbook paper doesn't really like that. So I tried it. I think after that I put my pencils away and I just looked at them for a good couple of months. Yeah, I'm fully aware of what those pencils cost, and it was a little bit overwhelming. It was such a sweet gift though. Here I was trying to teach myself the anatomy of the human ribcage. It had a purpose because what I wanted to do was make a landscape with a bridge and a troll underneath that bridge. And that troll was munching on some bones and had some bones scattered about in the river and in the landscape. Some of those bones were ribs poking out from the water, in my mind. But I had no idea how to do that. So I tried teaching myself how ribs worked. But it was a little bit more complicated than I expected it to be. I think because I have been pretty successful before with trying to sketch new things. And I think this was one of the first times that I bumped into something that was not as easy for me to learn. On top of that, I also couldn't get the anatomy of that troll right, so I just dropped the idea. But the concept is still floating in my head, and I will make a troll under the bridge painting one day. So I had stopped writing down the dates, but I do think that we are at the beginning of 2021, and I had started the 100 Heads Challenge. The challenge here is to sketch 100 heads within 10 days. And I must admit that this sketchbook paper is very beginner friendly because I erased a lot. It took me several hours to finish one face, and still I'm not seeing any signs of the paper being ruined at all. Well, of course I didn't make it to 100 heads within 10 days, that's way too difficult, but I didn't realize that at the time. That pointy face in the top right, that was from a sculpture. I had no idea how to sketch that, so I just went for a pizza head. Also, by the way guys, during this challenge I realized how difficult it can be to sketch a face that does not express much. You know, that doesn't express a lot of emotion. I think I'm using wrinkles and expressive lines as guidelines. And no offense to the world of modeling here, I think I just personally prefer a wrinkly face with some emotion. Well, hello progress. Did I really sketch these guys? Wow. There's such a difference between the previous page and that page. I wonder how many days I had in between, because back then I still was thinking of doing 100 heads in 10 days. Something must have clicked. And this also precisely shows what I mean with preferring wrinkly old faces. Nah, I must have dropped the 10-day challenge by this time, because by the look of this, I think I've taken my sweet time to make all of these heads. So I really wasn't thinking of showing these sketches to anyone back when I made them. I didn't have any YouTube in mind, and now in hindsight, I just wish I made them a little darker, so that you could see them proper. And we're back to the model faces. Maybe it's just up to me to give them character. Or maybe the real challenge is to sketch what you see instead of what you think. Yay, statues and sculptures! I enjoyed making these. Even though I was struggling a little bit with that devil face up there and with the man with the cigar. You can also really see that I've been focusing on sketching faces and not so much on sketching the neck and shoulders. I am still not very good at that, and maybe it's about time to do something about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 portraits this time. It does look like I'm still trying to make it to 100. The weird yet friendly looking troll guy in the middle of the page is sketched from imagination. All the others are from reference. The friendly troll has a leaf on his forehead, and I gave him a pointy ear. I usually did not sketch much from imagination, because I honestly didn't know how. I hadn't built up that visual library yet. Hello progress, we meet again. These dudes have some serious story written on their faces. I do see that something went a little wonk with the elderly man's eye socket. That guy in the middle reminds me of a greedy, grubby business dude who would rather let the town starve than give away a little bit of his wealth. But what he did not realize was that he actually needs the townsfolk. He needs the farmers to make his food, and he needs the guardsmen to guard his coin. No, I think that the future of Mr. Tophead is not as glorious as he hoped it to be. So what have we here? We have a stoic Roman on the left. In the middle we have another jarman with a pipe. And on the right we have an orc. And I see that I dared to get in there with a little bit of colored pencil. And yes, I'm saying dared because I always was a little bit afraid of how to use color. Some people have this intuitive sense for which colors to combine, and somehow that one is missing in my head. So I just, had to learn it. Learn the theory. And now, with your permission, I am going to go through these pages a little bit faster because the coming pages will mostly be portraits. Portraits and portraits and portraits, me sketching from reference and trying my darnest to do it as good as I could. But apart from that, there isn't much else to say. It was just practice. Alright, let's talk about these guys for a bit, because they do mean a lot to me. I remember being a little bit tired of, how am I going to say this politely? I was a little bit tired of your standard neutral face. Not your face, obviously, the model's face, the reference face. You know what I mean. Oh, there's such a difference between how it all started and that point that I've reached there. Oh, but I still remember sketching that orc. It was a summer day and we were sitting outside and I was happily sketching in my own bubble. It was so nice. The old man on the right has a lot of nose going on. And I remember not being able to figure out the faraway eye, so I tried to make it dark and see if that would work. Oh well. It fades away in the background. It doesn't really seem to be important. That was also the first time that I learned that, so you don't really need to sketch everything in detail. Not everything needs to be visible all the time. But on the other hand, if you don't learn from your mistakes and just keep hiding them, then you won't ever get any better. After these guys, we reach a different phase of the sketchbook, because I wanted to sketch more spontaneously. I wanted to sketch less from reference and more from whatever came up in my mind. So this is where I would like to end the video for now. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and then I will see you in the next video. Bye!